I've been thinking about this for quite some time, and I finally decided to go ahead and do it. And I'm going to call this How COVID Affected My Life. Um, to give you a little backstory, in 2021, I moved to a new area. I had recently lost my husband, and I was basically starting over, so I was struggling a lot to take care of me and my adult autistic daughter. So I was working really, really, really hard just to make ends meet. And I have a lot of health issues already. Um, and I had a bad back, so I couldn't do a lot of standing. So I saw driving for Uber and Lyft was a way to make the extra money that I needed. Now, I was doing Uber 12 hours a day, and then I would do Lyft for 6 hours a day. So that's 18 hours a day I was working. Then I would go home and I would do what needed to be done with home, and I would start all over again the next day. Okay, fast forward a little bit. I was driving a guy in the Uber, and it was a Caucasian man, and COVID had to, was prominent at that time. It was really bad, and so Uber required you wear a mask, and that the people that you pick up wear masks. So I picked this gentleman up, and he was intoxicated. I picked him up on Beale Street, and he kept taking his mask off. And I was like, "Sir, I have chronic asthma. Could you please keep your mask on, especially with COVID? That is part of the rules. You agreed to that when you requested the ride." And I became every N word there was. And I was like, "Sir, please, we can't continue this trip. I'm going to have to ask you to get out if you don't put your mask on." This man, who I believe knew he had COVID already, because he leaned across the seat and coughed directly in my face and told me, "You N word B, I hope you die." And I told him, "It's okay, it's time for you to go. Get out." I put the car in park. I opened the door, basically dragged him out my back seat. "You gotta go." I was so frustrated and flustered. I said, "Okay, forget that. I'm gonna go ahead and go home." Um, Sorry about that. I was interrupted. Anyway, so I got him out of my car, and I was like, "Screw this. I'm done for the day. I'm tired. I've been working 18-hour days, 7 days a week. I'm gonna go home, get some rest, start fresh in the morning." So I went home, and on the way home, I stopped and I got my daughter and I something to eat. And I went home. And by the time I made it home, which I say was approximately 25, 30 minutes later, after I put him out of my car, I was so tired and drained, and I felt just funky. I had a funky feeling. And I got home and I laid down and I couldn't eat. I immediately lost my appetite. So my daughter was like, "Mom, what's wrong?" I was like, "I got a bad headache. This fool just coughed in my face, and he kind of pissed me off because he was racist, and it's just a whole bunch, and I need to decompress. Just let me lay here for a minute." I took some Tylenol and I laid down. Um, I woke up, I say about 6 hours later, and I was gonna try to get up and go back to work, and I couldn't move. I was just drained. I had no energy. I was burning up with fever. My daughter, I asked her to bring me the thermometer, and my temperature was 103.6. And I was like, wow, you know, this crazy weather, because it was hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. So I thought maybe, I got the flu, whatever. And she was like, you running a fever like that, you're not going to be able to go to work. I was like, I know. I'm just going to lay here. She was like, you want me to warm up your food? No, I'm not hungry. You eat it. And I laid back down and I went back to sleep. When I woke up again, little did I know it was 8 days later. Burning up with fever, gasping for breath. And I woke up to my daughter shaking me, Mom, I can't breathe. Now this is second party accounting that I'm telling you guys now, because I was not aware of anything. After I went back to sleep that second time, I lost track of some things. But my daughter said she woke me up. So she had been waking me up every day to eat, to drink something. I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't drink for 8 days straight. She said I didn't even get up to go to the restroom. And so she kept saying, Mom, do I need to call 911? And I kept telling her, no, I'll be fine. I'm just tired. Let me rest. It wasn't until she said she couldn't breathe that I told her, call 911. So she said she called 911 and told them that she was short of breath. She couldn't hardly breathe. And she needed an ambulance. And she said that I got up and I cleaned myself as good as I could, because I couldn't stand for too long. So she said she kind of washed my body down as best way she could and helped me put on my clothes. And she said I stood up to pull my pants up and I hit the floor. And I kept telling her, I can't move, something's wrong. Mind you, I don't remember any of this. I ended up, this was September 12th, 2021. She said when the paramedics got there, they put me on the gurney because I was in way worse condition than she was. But we were both transported. She said she sat on the little bench in the back, and I was on the stretcher, and they were working on me. Got to the hospital, and they immediately started packing me in ice, because my temperature had went up to like 106 or something like that, and said they were packing me in ice. And as soon as they packed me in ice, the more ice they packed me in, the faster it was melting, and they couldn't get my fever to go down. And she said she was in a room directly across from me, and she took pictures of all the stuff they had me hooked up to. And in the picture, I was looking at her, but like I said, I don't remember any of it. And said so they had her call my next of kin, which was my aunt, and I had less than 1% lung function. And so they rushed me upstairs to ICU, and my lung capacity kept diminishing more and more. So they were told that my only chance at survival would be to be put on a ventilator. So I was placed on a ventilator, and at the time, this was, like I said, COVID was very prominent, and I was not allowed visitors, but I was put in a medically induced coma, and I remained in that coma from September till the end of October, like the day before Halloween, October 30th. The way they had to position me in order to get any oxygen into my lungs, they had to put me face down, hanging face down. And the cords cut into my face and caused the bruising. It keloided over. So these are battle scars from COVID. When I awakened, I couldn't speak because I had the trach in. And I couldn't move my arms, legs, feet, nothing. My mental capacity was diminished because I had lost so much oxygen to the brain. So basically, COVID took everything. I had to learn how to walk, talk, eat, speak all over again. I have extensive nerve damage in my hand and in my legs. It took me a lot of physical therapy, a lot of occupational therapy to even learn how to walk again. I still walk with a limp to this day, and I use a cane, and that's to keep me from falling as much, because I still fall quite often. While I was in the hospital, they were so busy taking care of me that they couldn't maintain my hair. So I will later upload some pictures if I can. If I can figure this YouTube thing out. I really don't know how it works, but I will try to upload some pictures. I had long, pretty hair. And it had to all be cut off because it was so matted and packed to my head that it couldn't be salvaged. So I lost my home while I was in the hospital. My landlord rented my house from up under me. I lost my fur babies. They were killed, basically. I got out of the hospital in the dead of winter in December with nothing but a hospital gown and footies because everything I owned had been taken. My car had been sold by the landlord. He told them it was an abandoned vehicle on his property and he wanted it gone. So I had to start from scratch. And that's hard to do when you can barely stand up. But I'm here. And I was homeless for 2 years, me and my daughter. And no one knows what that's like unless you've actually been in that situation. That is a horrible feeling. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. That's just how bad it is. Not having somewhere to call home. I just recently got an apartment and I'm trying to rebuild. And there's a whole bunch of crap going on with that. And I will do a video about that later. But yeah, that's how COVID affected my life. Maybe someone else has been through the same thing. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I ask that you do not be disrespectful, because I will not respond. Thanks for taking time to listen. Bye.